y'all, Bill Quirk with the Defensive Training Group and Shoot GTR. Here to do another video for you today, talking about a couple of new products that we've got in both the pro shop at Shoot GTR and over at Lawful Defense. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is kind of a new design, a new offering from Springfield Armory. And this came out several months ago and I got mine then. But this is the Springfield Armory Prodigy, and it's their, they can't call it a 2011 because that's licensed by Staccato, so this is a double stack 1911. 9mm pistol, single action, it comes with a 17 round magazine and a 20 round magazine. You can also buy a 26 round magazine. Just their answer to the Staccato, the STI, same brand, that kind of thing. Short version, I like mine a lot. Now, on the internet, you'll see that these have gotten a series of mixed reviews. Some people like it, some people don't. So let's talk about a couple of different things that you may hear. So one of the first things you're going to hear is it's not a Staccato. Well, that's true, it's not. The price point's about $1,000 different, $1,500 versus $2,500, $2,600. The fire control parts on the Prodigy are cast, whereas on the Staccato series, they are tool steel. So the out-of-the-box trigger might be a little bit better, depending on how sensitive your trigger finger is and how discerning your tastes are. But when I got my Prodigy, the trigger was still very, very good. Ultimately, if you want the best trigger pull possible, then you are going to want to swap out those parts with some tool steel parts and better crafted parts, and that will ultimately give you a better trigger press. But again, we're talking about $1,000 difference. So I swapped out the fire control. I had my gunsmith Robert Wilson switch out the fire control on my copy. We have a 10/8 hammer, I think this is a Chile trigger, and some different stuff on the inside from a couple different manufacturers. But Evolution Gunworks made all the sear and all the disconnect and whatnot. But that cost me about $400, so I'm still $600 less than a comparable Staccato would have cost me. And very happy with it so far. The finish is going to be a little bit different on your Staccato versus this. The Prodigy, this is a Cerakote finish, which is still very durable. Gives you some good wear resistance and some lubricity built in. So the good things about this is that the price point's a little bit lower. So if you're getting into a double stack 1911 9mm, this is not going to cost you quite as much. And if you're the type of person, which most people that go into a 1911 platform are, if you're the type of person that wants to tweak with your guns, well, you're starting from $1,500 as opposed to $2,600. So I like it as a good starter platform. Mine has been very reliable. Some people have reported that theirs was not as reliable, but mine's been very reliable with all the 9mm that I fed through it. And that kind of gets me to one big point about these. The Staccato mags, in my experience, have not been terribly reliable. And they're pretty expensive. They go for about $80 a pop at retail. And if you want a good one that's going to be guaranteed to work, you have to get a tuned one, and those can run $150, $160, $170. And that's quite a bit of money for a magazine. Your Prodigy magazines are going to be about $48 at retail, and all of mine, and I've got them in several different batches, so they weren't all from the same production run, mine have all been reliable. Specifically, mine have all locked the slide open on the last round, which is something that perennially the Staccato mags do not do, at least in my experience. So I've been very happy with the Prodigy mags. They're quite a bit cheaper, so you can buy more. So another nice thing about the Prodigy is it is going to be an optics ready platform, and I really like the plate system that comes on this. It's licensed from Agency Arms. It's a variation of their AOS system, Agency Optics system, and you get different plates. It comes with a plate that is set up for the Springfield Armory branded optic, which is called the Hex Dragonfly. And I got one of those, wasn't too happy with it. It didn't survive more than 400 rounds before it died on me. But I got one because that's the plate that comes with the gun, and I wanted to put a dot on it. The Steiner MPS that you see here, comes when you buy the Steiner with a plate that will adapt to the Doctor footprint, which is the same footprint as the Hex Dragonfly. So I was able to put my Steiner on this using that adapter plate. Not ideal to have two adapter plates, but it worked out until eventually I'm going to get an acro plate when they become available and put a Aimpoint Acro P2 on here. But all that notwithstanding, I like the lockup system here. The rear sight is very visible. The gun comes standard with a fiber optic front. I've lost my fiber optic here, and I'm probably going to replace this with a tritium unit at some point as well. But I'm waiting to get the P2 mounted so I can make sure I regulate everything. We should be getting one of these in the next week. Or actually, we have one already in stock over at Lawful Defense. We should be getting another one in sometime within the next week over at Lawful Defense. So if you're interested in this, you can swing by there and take a look. The holster that I've got for this is something else that we sell at the range. This is from one of my favorite holster companies, T5 Custom Kydex. This is one of their semi-custom versions in a blue plaid that I kind of like. And I don't think Jerry has any more of this left, so sorry, you might get some more if you ask nicely enough. But this is just a standard inside the waistband, appendix holster. It's got your claw, it's got a wedge on the back, and then I've upgraded the clips with the Discreet Carry Concepts monoblock up on the front here, which is going to give you really good retention. It's a bit more challenging to put on sometimes because it is paired specifically to the belt, but once you get it on, it's not going to come off unless you want it to. So we sell these at the Pro Shop here at Shoot GTR. Basic black is the version that we'll have. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about is a new offering from Modlite that we just got in around the same time as SHOT Show, so several weeks ago. This is the Hog. So obviously out here in the daylight, it's going to be kind of hard to appreciate the value of this light source, of the things that it can do. But through the magic of editing, we're now going to go to low light and show you what I mean. So here we are now on range 1. This is our 200-yard rifle range. Sun's gone down, moon hasn't come up yet. It's just past 7 o'clock. To show you what the Hog can do. So we've got our berm. It's got some ambient light here from the parking lot, kind of spilling in, but the berm itself is very much in darkness. So you can see what I'm talking about. The beam, that candela, is sufficient to punch that beam all the way out 200 yards down there to the berm and actually illuminate the berm. So we're not just getting some peripheral light, we're getting directed illumination all the way down there. And that's sufficient for us if we've got the acuity, because this is based on your eyes, of course. But if you've got the acuity, you can see someone down there. And remember, it's not enough just to see that there's a person there. You have to be able to see that person with enough specificity to identify if they're actually a threat to you. Who are they? What are they doing? What do they have in their hands? That kind of thing. That's the degree of interrogation that we need from a fighting light, something that we're using for these types of defensive purposes. So again, 200 yards, and it's clearly illuminating that berm. If we had some steel set up down there, you'd be able to see that. But we're taking it down. So that's just your nighttime demonstration of the Modlite Hog. And now we're going to return to our daylight portion, go back and finish the video. So that footage in the darkness shows you what I'm talking about, the capabilities of this light source, the ability of this light to punch out a solid beam and illuminate something at distance with enough illumination, enough information for you to actually make a positive identification that it is or is not a threat to you. This light's not going to be for everybody. You can decide if you need this type of capability in a handheld. For me, as I said, I am going to wear it on my patrol vest because I want as much light as I can possibly get in that environment particularly. I still carry my smaller, my older Modlite handheld. This is also a PLH V2 that I carry everywhere I go, but this is the one that's going to ride on my duty vest. And it all comes down to the idea that light is information, information is power, and especially when we're operating, I love that word, operating operationally in an operational environment, especially when we're doing things in low light, no light, the ability to identify that target and determine is it actually a threat to me is critical. That's the obligation that we have as the good guy. So we have these in stock both at Lawful and also here in the Pro Shop at Shoot GTR. The Theorem switchback is in stock as well, as are the carriers that I talked about, the one I'm going to have on my duty vest. So if you think this is something you might be interested in, come by, take a look at them. If you have questions about anything I've talked about today, the Light, the Prodigy, or our T5 holsters, please leave them below, give us a call and ask. Give us a like, give us a share, and as always, y'all be safe.